Hey guys, it's Sebastian and welcome to the Holiday Inn Maldives.
In today's video, we're checking out what might be the most underrated hotel in the Maldives, the Holiday Inn Resort Kandooma. This is the perfect option if you want 80% of the Maldives experience at 20% of the price. We'll look at how to get there, 2 of the rooms, amenities, and everything you need to know before visiting. This is from the time capsule and part 4 of our Maldives trip that included Sri Lankan business class, St. Regis, and W Maldives. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm, and if you want to upgrade your travel, consider subscribing. As points people, we travel kind of weird. For the best hotels, a lot of the time, availability only opens up last minute. Think 1 to 14 days out. Sometimes that doesn't happen and you're stuck finding somewhere else to stay while mid-trip. We debated the main city or one of the budget-friendly options and landed on the Holiday Inn Resort. Since we did book last minute, no one reached out to coordinate transportation, and we figured we would just be able to find their booth. Per the records, all the guests for the day actually left already, so no one was there. Luckily, a staff member from another hotel stand called someone from the Holiday Inn team, and they sent a boat to pick us up. The boat fees here are a bargain, especially compared to other resorts. Here you're looking at $150 USD per person, while other hotels like Waldorf Astoria will run you $1K for a similar distance. We'll cover it in the next video, but the Waldorf boat is a lot nicer. The boat ride to the Holiday Inn is about 45 minutes, and it's definitely a no-frills experience. If you are prone to seasickness, definitely take medication beforehand or go on an empty stomach. The Holiday Inn, along with the Waldorf Astoria, are 2 of the closer resorts from the main city. In fact, both are part of the Kafu Atoll. This atoll is known for its many reefs, channels, and dive sites. If you're a scuba diver, I've heard amazing things about Vadu Caves. The downside is that it's less ideal for specific wildlife like mantas, whale sharks, or tiger sharks. But yeah, just because it's close doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, if you wanted to swim with reef sharks, this is a great resort to do it.
So this is going to be one of their 2-story rooms. We ended up getting an upgrade because Mandy is currently Spire, but I believe even with Platinum, I've seen people and seen some data points of people getting upgraded to this room or an Overwater one. You see the bed over there. There's a balcony that I'll take you guys to, but pretty straightforward room, kind of a giant square. You have some artwork on the left as well as a TV. The big benefit of this room and the reason we're staying here is because we're actually using cash for these 3 nights, kind of burner nights. And if you're someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of points, or if you don't want to spend money, then this might be a good property to consider. So we have a menu right there that's not complimentary and actually pretty expensive.
What?
You have a little work desk over here, as well as some complimentary coffee, as well as tea, and also some water up here. The reason I'm doing this tour at night is it's a pretty small room, and I think once we open up the luggage, it's going to look pretty messy. There's going to be a mini bar area over here. Interestingly enough, some of the choices are a bit representative of the demographics, I think. So Red Label is a lot cheaper than some of the other ones that we've seen, mostly Black Label. Prices are also going to be a bit better. Going to jump to a picture because this is tiny and hard to read. So I still probably wouldn't pay this, but if you really want a snack, then might be a good choice. All the items in here are not going to be free other than the creamer for coffee. Coming into this room, we have a pillow up here if you want to spare. A bit more room for storage and to hang up your towels. Toilet seat, hello. And then you have this closet area, safe, sandals, beach bags, as well as umbrellas. You have 1 sink, and yeah, pretty straightforward, but I think it does the job. If you're someone who is looking for burner nights, or maybe you just don't have those points, you don't want to redeem it at hotels, but you really like flights, then maybe this is a good way to take an interesting flight or go to an interesting destination while not spending too much cash or points on the hotel. Some towels, and then this is going to be the shower area. Conditioner, shower gel. It is an outdoor shower, so hard to see right now because it's pretty dark, but there's no glass here. This is the outside. Heading back into the main room. I think we're supposed to keep this back door closed. We have a balcony area that I believe overlooks the water, but it is pretty dark right now.
This hotel is one of the weirder options to book. The cash rate is in the $250 range per night during shoulder season. Heading into the start of peak, you're looking at the low 300s, which still isn't bad at all. Unlike a lot of other hotels where you get a lot of value for your points, it's just okay here. Using points, it's about $50K per night. It's still not bad though, especially if you're looking to maximize the number of nights. On that note, if you want to learn about cards to get points, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. If you're paying out of pocket, I would recommend booking using a VIP portal. Check the price to make sure the math works, but the main draw is additional perks for some of the rates, like complimentary breakfast. Some of the more expensive rates include breakfast, dinner, champagne, and island picnic lunches. So if you are looking to eat, that might be the move. If you're interested, I'll link to it down below with the current password. Speaking of eating, there's 7 main options. Kandooma Cafe is the main buffet restaurant and sits right on the water and rotates between international and Maldivian themes, so you can mix comfort food with local spice. The Asian Kitchen is the resort's signature dinner spot that's focused on fresh seafood and wok dishes with an open show kitchen and a quiet oceanfront setting. Bokura Coffee Club, which is part of the pool deck, is the go-to for daytime snacks or a la carte lunches by the pool with pizza, burgers, and smoothies on rotation. Baravelli Beach Bar is a casual beach bar open through the afternoon, ideal for light bites and cocktails without leaving the sand. Sunset Bar is the best spot for a drink at golden hour, overlooking the lagoon with occasional live music. The Lounge Bar is the social hub near reception that turns into a relaxed hangout at night, serving simple cocktails and mocktails. The last option is private dining or villa service, so pretty much room service but in a nicer destination. Across the board, the prices here are a lot more reasonable than other resorts. For the first night, we went to the Lounge Bar. Mains were under $40, which isn't cheap, but about half the price of the premium hotels. I ordered the Wagyu beef burger for dinner. The patty was juicy with a clean char, closer to a classic American burger than the fancy versions some resorts serve. Nothing crazy, but solid comfort food after a long day. Mandy went with the fish bun, which is basically their take on a Maldivian fish sandwich. It had a mild curry flavor and a soft roll that she thought was just okay. It's also lighter than expected, so not the most filling. After a good night of sleep, we woke up the next morning for breakfast. Breakfast is at Kandooma Cafe. It's a broad international buffet with Maldivian and Western staples, fresh fruit, and a pastry spread that's better than you'd expect for the brand. When I think of Holiday Inns, I don't think of good tasty food, which is what you have here. The variety is good for the price point. You'll see the usual pancakes and waffles, cereals, yogurt, salad items, plus local touches on rotation rather than a fixed daily spread. One of our favorite picks is the live egg station, which handles omelets and scrambled to order. Delicious and consistent, which is the perfect combo. The drinks are straightforward. You have brewed coffee, espresso-based options, and teas are included at breakfast. Note that Illy coffee and Dilma tea are stocked resort-wide. One of the most memorable meals of our entire Maldives trip was Asian Kitchen, so much so that I'll actually do a deep dive towards the end of the video. Taking a look at the property, the resort has 154 villas scattered in garden, beach, and overwater styles. Each part of the resort has its own vibe, so you can actually mix up your experience quite a bit. The main infinity edge pool sits just beside the beach. It's got plenty of sun loungers and direct access to sand. This area feels like the center stage of the resort. There's also a family pool with a slide and water fountains for kids, and the resort's recreational setup includes ping pong tables, swings, and open outdoor play areas. If you have kids or you're a kid at heart, you'll have a ton of fun. There's also the Can Do Kids Club where you can drop off your kids for daily activities and arts and crafts. Taking a look at the fitness center, it's modern with a variety of weights, cardio machines, and big windows to bring in air and greenery. It's not the fanciest gym, but it does the job. If you're into basketball, there's a court here. It is pretty worn down, but about the same as the courts I played on growing up, so still fun to shoot around. There's also beach volleyball, table tennis, and open outdoor games. The spa is tucked into a quiet garden section. It's got multiple treatment rooms, a steam room, a hot tub, and outdoor elements. There's also a tranquil garden area with a private pool. You can walk from end to end of the island in about 15 or 20 minutes, and you can pass through beach, jungle, palm trees, and overwater. So a pretty nice walk. The main draw of the Holiday Inn for us was the activities. This was an easy place to stack excursions without burning half a day on transfers. The Water Sports Center lets you borrow snorkeling gear and paddle boards, and they can set up everything from basic reef hops to sunset cruises and fishing. The prices felt reasonable for a Maldives resort, but still can add up. Pro tip, always ask about recent sighting rates, minimum head count, and the exact route before you book. For example, we were looking at the whale shark tour and asked how often the last few trips actually saw them. It was priced around $250 per person at the time, and they framed it as a coin flip to see one or two. Given those odds, we skipped it and we'll try to swim with them next time. Instead, we opted for a snorkeling excursion. The crew took us to a couple of reefs with plenty of fish life and easy entries. Overall a fun trip and worth doing if you want to go a bit further from the hotel waters. There's also a house reef for snorkeling that's free if you want something a bit more straightforward. Where the waves come in, you'll see a bunch of reef sharks. If you want to swim with sharks, this is a great opportunity and spot to do it. If you dive, the on-site PADI center can handle everything from refresher dives to open water courses. They have some pretty famous dive sites, including a shipwreck, so worth looking into. If you surf, you can target Kandooma right when the swell lines up.
We are going to do a room tour of an Overwater Villa. Let's start off with the money shots. This room is pretty big and it's very comfy. So I've sat on the couch for about 10 minutes and it's one of the best couches I've actually sat on. So very good over there. We have a bed over here, and since we are celebrating a special occasion, we ended up getting this decoration as well as this upgrade for free. We also do have IHG status. If you want a bit more information on stuff like that, I'd recommend going to the blog post down below. Gets into the nitty-gritty of stuff like this. Here is the closet, but not that interesting. Reason we are over here is just to do another big pan of the room. It is pretty sizable and I like how much light it gets. This is going to be the bathroom side, shower over there, and it does open up into the outside world. So if you are someone that isn't okay with bugs, then this might be a bit of a concern, but it's been pretty good for the most part. Shower head and outside world. You also do get a view of the ocean from here, so pretty clear shots into the overwater parts. We ended up opening all of these windows up just to make it a bit more visible and so you can see everything. There's a tub here and pretty Instagrammable if you want to do any pictures and you have enough time. Let's hop out. This is a bad idea. I don't think I can fit there. So you have this little deck area where you can shower after going for a swim since it is salt water and you probably don't want that on you for too long. During the daytime, you can probably see a lot of different fish underneath the bungalows or the villas just because they like to get out of the sun and it's shaded and a bit cooler for them. So you do see some of the stick-like fish all throughout this area. So currently is low tide right now and it does rise depending on the ocean because that's how the ocean works. There's not as much privacy as some of the other properties like the W, so you can see your neighbors. So depending on why you're here, it might be a deal breaker, but I think it's fine and you can always go inside if you need to do anything intimate. Or as Mandy corrected me in saying if you want some privacy. You have these two seats over here which look pretty comfortable, pretty comfy. You also have this to lay on too if you want to look up at the stars or if you just want that overwater picture. I think this would be pretty nice for some star stuff once it's nighttime. Reminder not to jump on this and also not to jump into the water because it is pretty shallow, so you're probably going to hurt yourself. You can see from looking over there that it's not really that deep, and even when it's high tide, I wouldn't recommend jumping. Here's another little pan of the room, and we started from up there where Mandy is. Let's see if we can break into the room. And that's how you break into bungalows.
Our favorite restaurant on the island was the Asian Kitchen. It's the signature venue with an oceanfront setting and an open show kitchen, so you watch the team work the woks while you eat. On our dates, they ran a seafood buffet one night with a DIY noodle station, appetizers, sushi, fruit, and desserts, plus a fresh seafood grill where everything was cooked to order. We went heavy on grilled lobster, shrimp, and scallops, and there were meats like chicken and lamb chops for balance. Theme nights rotate and seafood evenings commonly pop up here, so check the weekly schedule with the concierge. What stood out most was the wok work. The vegetables had real wok hay, high heat, quick toss, and that smoky edge you rarely see at resorts in this price band. It sounds minor, but it separates competent from memorable. The Asian Kitchen crew has the technique, and the show kitchen format lets you see it in real time. The value lands in a sweet spot. You get beachfront seating and skilled execution without top-tier luxury pricing, especially on buffet nights, compared to what flagship luxury properties charge for similar spreads. A small fun bonus, but the deck sits just above the sand, so you'll catch hermit crabs shuffling along during dinner. It adds a bit of Maldivian theater without trying too hard. Pro tip, make a reservation for seafood nights since they're the first to book out. Also double check whether it's buffet or a la carte before you go. If you're comparing venues across the resort, the Asian kitchen is the treat meal that still feels fair. It delivers the calm beachfront vibe, a tighter menu that leans Asian seafood, and cooks who can actually drive a wok, exactly what you want in this setting. The Holiday Inn leans hard into sustainability, and you can see it across daily operations. They phased out almost all single-use plastics and switched to refillable glass. This single change keeps 1.2 million plastic bottles a year out of circulation. Water is handled on island. They produce their own drinking water, harvest rainwater, and pipe air conditioner condensate to gardens and foot rinse stations, which cuts both waste and freight. Power loads are managed with LED and inverter gear, and the resort supplements with a solar array that's been saving tens of thousands of liters of diesel annually. Right off the Kandooma Right surf break, there's a wave energy pilot the resort helped host with the Maldives government, the first of its kind here. It's experimental, but it shows they're testing real alternatives in a place with consistent swell. Plastics and beach health are addressed through a formal tie-up with Parley for the Oceans. The resort pledged to intercept plastic on Kandooma, ferry sorted plastics from nearby islands when needed, and run cleanups on uninhabited sandbars, plus guest education via Parley's AIR framework. They've also pushed everyday low paper habits. A resort app launched in October 2022 handles service requests and menus, which trimmed printed collateral across rooms and outlets. Even landscaping feeds the loop. Fallen palm fronds are stacked into frond circles to compost in place, regenerating soil and cutting diesel runs for green waste. It's simple, visible, and it works. Overall, we enjoyed our stay at Holiday Inn Kandooma and would come back if the plan is activity heavy. For example, we want to get PADI certified, and this seems like the perfect option. The Holiday Inn is a good break from ultra luxury when you want a longer trip at a more reasonable price. Service was consistently helpful and flexible. Food met expectations for the tier, and the Asian kitchen was the standout. The hardware feels dated and due for a refresh, but the value holds if your priority is excursions over finishes. The key is expectations. You're booking a Holiday Inn, not a Ritz-Carlton or Waldorf Astoria or Park Hyatt. If you want high-end design, butler polish, and elevated pastry programs, you should skip this and choose a luxury property. If you want convenient transfers, lots of activities, family-friendly infrastructure, and fair pricing, this fits. If you're planning a trip here, I'd recommend having at least IHG Platinum Elite status for upgrades and perks. If you want to learn more about cards that have it, we have links on the website asksebby.com and down below in the description box. If you're paying out of pocket, I'd strongly recommend mapping out the prices with a VIP portal like Cardonomics. I'll link to that down below with the current password. If you made it to this point, leave a crab emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and respond. 3 questions: what are your thoughts on the Holiday Inn Resort Maldives? Do you prefer the land room or the Overwater Villa? Also, what's the most surprising meal you've had while traveling? Big favor thumbs up, share this, but otherwise hoped you liked it. See you on the road.
There's a lot of little crabs on the beach that Mandy's enjoying watching. First real plate of food after trying some of the foie gras, and I got a little bit of everything just to give it all a whirl. I'm gonna start off with this one because I think it's the one that can most likely taste not as good after. It's basically a Peking duck roll. That's okay. A bit too thick for my taste, but not bad flavors. Let's try some of the assorted sashimi. Salmon's really good. This one I thought was scallop, but I don't think it is. Not scallop, but still pretty good. They do the rice surprisingly well. So a lot of other sushi type places here don't have the vinegar rice. It just tastes like normal rice. Not bad. Ended up getting some more sashimi because it's pretty good, but we also got our grilled food to come. And let's try that first because that's piping hot. And I feel like it's going to be the best. So starting off with the rack of lamb. Actually pretty good. Yeah, really tasty. Considering that we paid $100 for 3, $50 for 3 of these slivers. That was probably like a 9 or 10. This is like an 8. A bit over for my taste. Hard to see, but I usually prefer medium rare. This is more closer to medium, but still tasty. Let's try one of the scallops. Scallop is really good. It's not overcooked, which is a pretty important thing. Good grill flavor. Lobster is going to be next. Let's pull it out. So not too much meat, so you might want to order a few of these. These are going to be sand lobsters. Pretty good flavor though. Might make sense to get some fakwa or a little bit of butter. We'll give the corn a quick taste. Corn's okay. A bit dry, but it's still wetter than the rest of what's on there. Final thing is going to be the prawn, which is almost as big as the lobster, if not bigger. In terms of the meat size, ooh, it's still hot. So gigantic head. Really good. Gigantic piece of meat. I actually prefer the shrimp a bit better because I feel like it's less dry and more flavorful. But depends on you. And if you're at a buffet, you can do both. Yeah, probably some of the best shrimp I've had in terms of juicy, flavorful.
Good flavors.